So welcome to the Node.js Next 10 meeting for January 19th, 2022. We'll follow the agenda that we have tagged in the issue in the repo, which is, oops, I thought I had it up here. Just a sec, let me open it up. It is issue number 109. Before we get started, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? I guess it's worth making sure everybody's aware that we do have a mini summit scheduled next week to dive into documentation and into modern HTTP. So that's on the Node.js calendar. It's scheduled for, let me just pull up the time, 10 Eastern on Thursday, the 27th. So, if you have an interest in what the project needs to be doing to be successful going forward on those two areas, that's a way to get involved and help share and move that forward. Other than that, I think we can move on to the agenda. So the first thing on the agenda is Node.js node build 39672, which is provide pre-built Node.js images or cache. And I think, Tierney, you've been leading that, moving that forward. Do you want to jump in with where we're at? Are there any blocking issues you need help on or anything like that?
Oh boy. I just saw that the pre-built's nice. Sorry, I'm looking at the issue and I just saw there was a new thing. Right now I've built it, it's functional. We're still working on getting the Node.js user on Docker Hub, so we can actually publish the Docker image, because right now the Node.js image is just floating kind of on its own, and there's no organization that the Node.js project has. So trying to trademark claim the completely empty, we're not taking away someone's account, Node.js user that is listed as location Taiwan. It's not owned by the project presently.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically the blocker, is just being able to publish the image. Once we can, seems good.
Our existing images are published somewhere else, I guess.
Well, so as far as I can tell, unless we have alternative images, the Node.js image is a special image, that is it's owned by Docker, but it's outside of an org or a user. It's just a named image.
Okay.
It's special.
It's an official image, I think, is
yeah.
It's special in a way, they've, they help us publish those under that namespace, and it's recognized as, this is the node, and our Docker team helps publish it. Okay. So, but this would be a separate org where we would actually be publishing to these, versus the Docker ones, as I understand.
Yep.
When we publish a change, they publish them for us and all that.
Got you. Yeah. So okay. we would be publishing directly to this, and it would be automatic through from the GitHub repo.
Okay, that sounds good, because I think this may be the first instance, but the project having an org we can publish Docker images to sounds like a generally good thing. Kind of how we can publish NPM packages and so forth. Although I guess we don't. Anyway, let's not go into that. But this is generally a good thing.
Yeah.
So do you have a sense? Is that
I have no clue how long that's going to take. Okay. I've been trying to poke at it, but I've really not. It doesn't feel like I'm making progress on that. I'll be honest. I'm trying to make it happen, but it does not feel like it's progressing. So yeah.
What's sort of the next step on that?
The next step is having the foundation reach out to Docker. I've been trying to make that happen. But having the foundation reach out to Docker and say, hey, please give us this org, it's our trademark. Okay. And then Docker saying, okay, here's this org, it's your trademark. And then the Docker team and the TSC will jointly own the Docker org. We'll go from there.
Okay. So yeah. So if you, I don't know if you want, if it helps at all to pull me into those discussions with the
Yeah.
foundation to say, hey, like, you know, sometimes more having more people say, hey, what's going on, or this is important can help versus.
Mhm.
So anyway, off making the offer, if you think that would help, I'm happy to get involved in that loop because
Looking
we're just waiting on people. Would be good to get that prioritized.
yeah, looking back, there's a message I didn't see apparently from Brian saying this may be a challenge since it required proof of ownership to do a trademark claim. We're currently licensing it from Giant Samsung. I think we can make this happen. That might require a few weeks. I'll follow up with him again this week
Sure. Okay.
and see.
Okay, that would be good. I guess, yeah. Alternatively, to be not blocked, we could use some other name. Is that another path?
Yeah, I feel it feels icky, but yeah, you're right.
I'm kind of like, I don't think we should stop doing this at all
Yeah,
because, like, if there's a namespace out that could be clearly confusing, that's not
yeah,
necessarily a good thing. But if it's like, this is going to take 2 months,
yeah, yeah. If it's
something
gonna
else
take two
might make sense.
months,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Like Node.js dash official or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Node.js.
Well, so Node.js is the one that we're trying to get. Node is already taken because of
Right.
the org or the official image.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Like we could, you know, because even this is kind of like it's not node images, like so something even like Node.js
Yep.
utilities
Yeah.
would make some sense. But
Yep.
okay, so yeah, so it sounds like you got the next step. If it's truly stuck, then you know maybe something else. But that would be good because yeah, I even just like yesterday was like building. Okay, I want to run this under Docker. Let's go and you know, oh, and I've got to install these different machines and stuff. So if I'd been thinking, I might have gone and looked for that image and done it. So definitely a useful. Do you have a link to the image in there? Probably, right?
I mean, yes. So it's you can build it yourself from I think it's dev container. From Node.js / dev container on GitHub. And see. Oh, I need to change the.
That doesn't make it quite
But
as handy though.
right. Well, yeah. So it's not published because it builds nightly. And
Right.
since it's not published to like it was being published to my personal account, I'm happy to continue publishing it there. But like, I didn't think that was a probably a good thing to do. Automatically publishing to my personal account from the Node org. Yeah. So it makes it slightly less useful.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not. I just yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it would be. But I think if you get follow up, try and get a sense of like, is it a weeks thing or is it
Yeah.
a months thing? And if it's a months thing, I would suggest like my initial thought is like, why don't we just pick something like Node.js utilities or something? We can always publish it in a better place at some
Yep.
point, right? And it's going to be mostly internal. So anyway, okay, sounds like that sounds good.
So did we ever figure out if we publish it, if it could be usable from the code spaces on GitHub?
That's the yes yes that is part of the intent is when you launch code spaces from the node repo it has the warm cache and that comes via a PR where you basically it's a basic Docker file in node core that would be like pointed to by the dev container.json
Okay.
file. I think I have a PR up for that. If not, I have it before.
Okay, so that would be and I think that you were looking at like, could we get some resources or something to support that or
Yeah, once that's added, I will. Well, yeah, that part I don't know because you have to be in org to be able to use code spaces. So like it would be like limited to collaborators, right? Or to be limited to members.
even that's a good first step though, right? Like
yep. And we do get some entitlement to some number of code spaces minutes in the org.
okay.
Now we'll probably blow through those.
Sure.
But yeah, we do have some entitlement in the free tier.
Okay.
And perhaps this is the thing that pushes us up to up to the enterprise plan for the free. So
Okay. Okay, so that sounds good. And so does that dependent on us publishing the image somewhere or?
yes, that's also dependent.
Okay,
Yep.
so we need to get it out there. We need to
Yep.
get it somewhere on Docker that then that can pull from. So, okay.
Yep.
Anything more on that one we should talk about? If not, okay, let's, I just added this one now. I didn't have it tagged for the agenda, but I did want to mention it here. Let me switch that to everyone. One of the actions out of the last mini summit was to document what we discussed in terms of the flow for supporting type generation. I haven't looked recently, but like it would be good. I'm mentioning here because some of the people were here. So if people had a chance to take a look and approve, that would be great. I think it's important in that this documents, like we've had that question a number of times, like, well, should we create types ourselves? Should we support the people creating types? And this documents our current understanding of what that is. And it's a good place where we can also refer to in the future the work that we do and Tierney's doing to help get the more structured JSON in place, better documentation. We can document the flow and the tools there because right now we do generate JSON, but I don't think it's documented anymore. So I think this is also a good place to get that document. So anyway, just wanted to say if people can take a look and hopefully review to help get that landed, it would be great.
Yeah.
And if anybody had time to do a similar PR for the discussion we had on single executable binaries, that would be great. Like, I think we had a really good discussion. We came out with what we thought the model would make sense for the project to do. That's sort of independent from whether we have people who are volunteering to do it. I still think it would be useful to document the discussion and agreement that we had that says, we had this agreement, this is the model that we think actually makes sense. And like that would be in the maintaining guide to say, like if we were going to do something, this is how we should be doing it. And then if it did happen, we could expand that to document what we actually do, right? So anyway, just mention that as like that's another outcome from the last summit that is a good action for somebody to pick up if they had time. I'm just going to take a note here. FYI. I didn't put on the agenda either, but like it's probably worth just mentioning. I know we've had the discussion about like using the document parser or moving that forward. I think that's still something this team should help to try and to make happen. And I know Tierney has been looking at the style guide stuff. So I think that's our next step on that. I don't know that there's anything to sort of discuss on that front.
No, I don't think there's any. I have a pending thing to do that list, and I haven't been able to get to that, unfortunately. But yeah.
I might create an issue to put on our agenda here because I think like once we get a few of the infrastructure pieces in place, then this team might be able to help because it's kind of thing. Once we get the certain infrastructure pieces, then a bunch of people could do things, right?
Yeah.
And we could talk about because even somebody mentioned things like Google Summer of Docs, and I'm wondering could we as a team try and take on supporting an effort there to, I don't know if that program could be used to support the changes we need to make on that front and that kind of. So anyway, I think it's kind of like once we unblock the key things, this team could sort of see it as an initiative that we're following up to see if we're making progress on. So. But yeah, otherwise today, nothing to discuss. The next one was, I think we could spend the rest of the time, well, we got lots of time, so maybe if we don't necessarily, maybe we'll end early, but I think we should spend the rest of the time, unless people have other things to kind of say, okay, mini summit, are we set? What should we do to prep for that? Does that sound good to people?
Yep.
Okay, so let me go back to that repo. Sorry, I'm just going to the repo and pulling up the issue. Um, okay, so I can see that in terms of the mini summit, have we've got a few people chiming in that say they'll be there. From the documentation front, I don't know who else, what groups or other people that we think we should specifically be sort of saying, hey, you're active in docs, are you interested in getting involved in this discussion? I don't know, Tierney, do you know if are there people that are active, interested in docs?
Not particularly. A lot of them are burnt out on docs, so
Okay.
Not really.
Because the only one that comes to mind is Rich, who I know is very active in docs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Outside of Rich, I'm not sure.
Wasn't there somebody who was doing multi-page docs where like each API got its own page? Who was that? That was a while ago.
I guess there is also a Node.js docs
team.
Is there? It's not popping up to me.
We might have deleted it. We might have deleted it because it wasn't like active.
I might have spelt it wrong. So
documentation.
Yeah, I don't see it coming up.
It's the documentation team, not docs.
Okay.
And I think most of the people are either inactive or active and would show up if it's something that they're going to show up to.
Okay, so I'm gonna just doing like some app mentions. I'm just taking a look at who's on there. Let me take a quick look. Because I know that like I seem to, whenever I do a doc thing, there seem to be a few people who are more commonly commenters or whatever. Just make sure everybody I'm thinking of is on there. Members. Yeah, actually, even that team doesn't even have some of the people that I would have in mind. Okay, so I guess the question is there anything else we should do to try and let people know that this is happening and it's some place they can show up if they want to get involved in the discussion?
For the summit, I don't think I've seen stuff on social media. Which
right.
Did we do how we reach out to non-normal contributors?
I can put something out. I'm pretty sure I did put something out, but I could put another thing out.
Okay.
I think we should all just kind of coordinate around a time and just blow it up.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll send out a tweet.
I'm gonna do it tomorrow around the week ahead of the summit.
Since if you want to DM it to me, I can also retweet it from Node.
Yeah, and then we could also put it in the ancient Slack and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and if I see that too, I'll either like retweet or so if we all do that, I think that's a good thing. So okay, so we talked a bit about docs, commented them. We'll do the general call. On the modern HTTP, I think we have a few people again. I just see.
I think James and Mateo were both going to show up.
Yeah, so that's a good start from that for
And then
sure.
I should be there.
Okay. That would be good. Okay, so basically, yeah, we'll try and tweet out some more. I don't think through app mentions we're probably done. Did I think I get a? I think I created a discussion item. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I did do the mini summit. Oops, that's not. Let's try to see if it would show me who would. Okay, no, we did that there. So I guess, just this, unless anybody has any other ideas of how to promote it. The social media would be good. And other than that, I think we're out of ideas.
I've been trying to reach out to some JavaScript newsletters to get a better throughput to them, but I think I'm just getting into their spam because people
I can
often reply.
I can reach out to what's his name? Who's the person?
Axel or
Oh no, I was thinking of the JavaScript Weekly and Node Weekly that have like 180,000 and 70,000 subscribers respectively.
yeah, I don't know who runs
Cooper.
them.
It's Cooper Press, and then he it's like mostly one person, Peter Cooper, and then there's apparently other people, but mostly Peter Cooper.
That's a really good point. That it would be nice, like this, it'd be nice if there was a way that, like, say through the social team, we could get stuff to them, right? Like it's not just random people reaching out to them. It's kind of like the Node project is saying, hey, here's something that's newsworthy you might want to include. I don't know, Tierney, what your thought is on that, but
I already DM'd him.
okay.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know if we need an official process for that. But like at least I know Cooper Press, Peter Cooper is always interested in hearing things, and he'll include stuff if we ask. Because
I'm just thinking there might be
it makes his
list
job
of
easier.
those.
So
yeah,
but yeah,
there might be like a list of, I don't know, like Bradley.
I honestly don't know of other ones outside of that one.
Right. Bradley, did you have a list of other?
So there's ES Next news still. I could go through and figure it out. Maybe we should just make an issue. So we can
Yeah, I think that
which
might be,
which has actually been pinged and how.
Right. Like, I think it would be good if we built a list of ones we think would be useful for this kind of thing. And then it might be as simple as we have that list. And when it's something like this that makes sense, the DM from the Node.js, I don't know, Tierney, if you did it under your own account because you know them.
I did it from mine. Yeah, I know.
Right. But like we could do something where it comes from the Node.js org account or an email from the Node.js, which would probably help us get through those spam filters or whatever, and be a recreatable, sustainable way to do this. And it makes a lot of sense because they'll probably be
they
like,
could choose to include it or not for whatever.
Exactly. Like it's not like it's just that it's like, here's a credible source that they're probably not block on their spam filters or whatever, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Bradley, you're gonna open an issue to put that list in somewhere, or?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it in next 10 for now because I don't have a good idea where.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Okay. So yeah, any other that was a good discussion. Any other ideas or things that maybe we should try? If not, then I think we'll done what we can. Hopefully we'll get, last time I think it was very successful. We had good participation. So let's keep our fingers crossed this time again. And I think we could close out for today unless there's other agenda items people think we should talk about.
Not really. I just saw there will be a collab summit in June. Should we plan something to have a next 10 meeting there, or?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a really good place to, it's, yeah, we should have a session. I think, we could easily start with like, here's what we've already been through a little bit. Here's what we've documented in terms of like, here's the things that we documented as being important to the project, and actually use that as a review point to say like, is this still valid? Are there other things? And then, sort of a review. It'd be the collaborator summit would be an ideal place to sort of do a yearly review of like, is what we think is important for the future success still that we've documented still makes sense? If yes, great. If not, up, and then dive into like one or two topics like we're doing in the mini summit. So
yeah, that's right. Because I think we started the next 10 during the summit in Montreal 3 years ago now. So it could be great to have a feedback of the last 2 years with what we did and what we plan to do.
Yeah, and it'd be a good place to find other people who would be interested in participating. So yeah, definitely. I know that there's we're planning for that in terms of the thing. I don't know if like our Node project planning has ramped up or started yet, but yeah, we should as a team submit something there for sure. Maybe open an issue in our repo to make sure we don't forget.
Yeah, I will open an issue about that.
Okay, sounds good. Any other things? If not, well, thanks for everybody's time and looking forward to see everybody at the summit next week. Talk to everybody later.